Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
I got an article right quick for you guys. It says Italian PM Giorgia Meloni rolls eyes, checks imaginary watch, waiting for Biden's arrival at NATO summit. This was today. This was published at about 2:30 Eastern. Okay. And you can see her right there. She's not very pleased about his, showing up late. Of course not. You got world leaders. They're not very happy about you showing up late. So that's Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister, rolling her eyes because Biden was late to the first event, making faces and everything else. Okay. So yeah. And that picture right there is from the July G7, but that's her earlier today. Like, hey man, where are you at? What's going on? So shout out to Giorgia Meloni. I may use that article later. Now, this is him at that particular event calling President Vladimir Zelensky from Ukraine, Vladimir Putin. Check it out.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. We're going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
He called this man President Zelensky. He really did that. He really, really, really did that. He called President Zelensky President Putin. Now here is now we get into the actual press conference.
With that, I'll take your questions. I've been given a list of people to call on here. Reuters, Jeff Mason.
Terrible, 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 terrible. Now, this is more. I was following the advice of my commander-in-chief. I thought you were the commander-in-chief. Who's the commander-in-chief if it ain't you?
I've gotten a more long-range capacity as well as defensive capacity. And so our military is where I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief, the chief. I've gotten a more.
Yeah, somebody say I did it too. I called President Putin Zelensky, and cuz man, listening to this guy, I mean, yo, I was trying so hard to hang in there with y'all, watching this man just ramble. Oh my goodness, man. I needed some toothpicks to hold my eyes open. I needed something, man. I don't got no coffee. I don't got no energy drink. I don't got nothing to keep me just from falling asleep. Okay, I felt like Sleepy Joe right there. Okay, so now Commander-in-Chief. Who's the Commander-in-Chief? I thought it was you. Okay, maybe you're going back to your vice president days when the Commander-in-Chief was Barack Obama. Maybe Barack Obama is still in charge. Now, this one, I think he calls Zelensky Putin again during the Big Boy press conference. And by the way, they were literally calling this the Big Boy press conference. I'm not making this up. Big Boy press conference. You're 81 years old. Are you a toddler or a fully grown man?
Did you see any damage to our standing by leading this conference? Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think? And the Putin piece, I was talking about Putin, and I said, and now, at the very end, I said, Putin. I said, no, I'm sorry, Zelensky.
Thank you.
Did you see any damage?
I mean, I can't tell if he was just trying to explain what he did at the earlier event or if he made another mistake right there. This was really just, I don't want to hear this man talk no more. I think I'm done. About 20 minutes in, maybe, to this whole little thing that he was doing, I was ready for them to be over. I was like, please just say you done, man. Don't call on nobody else. Just go back to your bed, man. Go back to your basement. Go back to your bed. Enjoy your applesauce and get off my TV. Okay, here's something else.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to.
You wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump? Who's that? I didn't know that there was a vice president with the last name Trump.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
So what's really going on? Vice President Trump? You mean Vice President Harris? Now, this one you got to see, because this is what I'm talking about if you're not really familiar. Because I was talking about the Big Boy press conference. Now, this is John Kirby and Karine Jean-Pierre, both referring to what you just saw as a big boy press conference. Check it out.
After that, the president will hold a press conference, I guess a big boy press conference is what we're calling it, and take some questions from y'all.
This week, President Biden will speak to national labor leaders of AFL-CIO, host the NATO summit to show the unprecedented strength of our alliance, hold a press conference, a big boy press conference, according to Justin Sink from Bloomberg.
I mean, they literally, I'm really just kind of amazed that they would do that. It's like, why would you refer to this as that? That doesn't make any sense. What do we do? That's not a thing that people are going to latch on to. Yeah, my president did a big boy press conference and he pulled his own diaper up. He's potty trained. What are we doing? It's Benjamin Button. I don't understand. This is crazy. This is totally nuts. But hey, man, 81 million votes, right? Yeah, right. I can't tell. If you get 81 million votes, I can't tell. When did I start streaming? I started streaming at about 6:15, 6:18. Because remember, the original time for the press conference was 5:30. Then they changed it to 6:30. I'm like, okay, I'll get there a little bit before 6:30 just to make sure that as soon as they go live, I'm ready to capture it. We're sitting here at 6:30, ain't nothing happening. Then you guys say, hey, they changed it to 7. We sitting here at 7, nothing is happening. We wait and wait and wait and wait. And 7:28, he comes out and starts talking. And he talked for about an hour total. The little pre-written speech, the teleprompter speech, that was a few minutes. And then most of the time was him spent responding to questions. I don't even want to say answering questions because a lot of the questions didn't really get answered. I felt like whenever there was a specific topic breached, he would expound on the topic in the best way that he knew how, instead of answering the question directly. That's what I think that he did. And that might be a strategy because when he gets into being very specific with certain nuanced questions, there could be some confusion. He had some old references, Golda Meir, who's been dead since 1978. As he always does, a lot of old references, a lot of old vocabulary, allay their fears. Nobody talks like that anymore. That's not really common language, but this is just what he does. So if you are one of these Democrats, because I have this article here that you guys may or may not have seen. This just came out. This came out right before he went live on stage. This article from CBS News came out. Okay, hold on. Let me put it on the screen for you guys. You see what it says right here. Potentially dozens of Democrats expected to call on Biden to step aside after NATO conference. Okay. Now, this is a live feed right here, but I don't think that they really enjoyed the press conference. I don't think that they enjoyed the debate, obviously, and they did enjoy the ABC interview with George Stephanopoulos, which was pre-recorded, where they could have edited things out. It made them look better, but there's no amount of editing that can change what you saw on the screen. People are saying that he has to go. All right. And even if they're saying he shouldn't go, they're talking about doing the cognitive function test and things of this nature. So I think that a lot of the Democrats are done. They're finished. They don't want to see this guy on stage anymore. But here we are. And really, as I said before, they put themselves in this situation. Listen, they knew that Joe Biden was rapidly declining back in 2020. Because remember, they had C-19, which was a blessing for them because they were able to run their campaign in the basement. He didn't have to go actually travel. But now what's the excuse? Okay, there's no excuse now. There ain't no more COVID now. You could go outside, but now they're sending Jill Biden to do campaign stops. He went to Europe and came back and had to sleep in Camp David for 6 days. And then he came out and did a debate and laid a whole egg. Then he comes out and does an interview with Stephanopoulos and lays another egg. Then he comes out and does this press conference, which in my humble opinion was a third egg. How many eggs you going to lay? You going to put a nest in this fake White House you got and hatch your eggs? I don't know what's going on. This guy has got to go. But hey, 81 million votes, right? Okay, that will not happen again this time because the general public sees him for what he is. during 2020, they were able to kind of hide him in the basement. They got him in his favorite chair with a pair of fuzzy slippers on, and they were able to have him do stuff from right there. Okay, you're Barack Obama's homie. We know you as a vice president from that administration. Let's go back. We can't get Barack Obama back. Michelle don't want to run. So let's get the next best thing in Joe Biden, who was already degeneratively old at that point. Now here we are, 2024. You want to reverse it. You want to go back the other direction. Well, newsflash, ain't no going back. Ain't no other direction. You here now. It's July 2024. The DNC is almost upon us. The RNC is this weekend. It's over. Like, there is no more trying to select somebody else. You run as Joe Biden, it ain't going to work because ain't nobody trying to vote for you. You try to swap in Kamala Harris, nobody likes her. That ain't going to work. You try to slide in Gavin Newsom. Now we got a racial conflict because they thinking you're skipping over the black woman because she's black. Now you got a racial conflict in a Democratic Party, which is the wrong thing to have. So you stuck. And you know what? I don't feel any kind of way bad or tired for him. You made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. You made your bed. Now lie in it.